Has Robin van Persie's brace at the bridge fired Arsenal back into the title race? Could they become the first side to lose 5 games before Christmas and still be crowned champions in 21 years? The future of Emile Heskey continues to be a topic for discussion at Wigan, who have the longest current unbeaten run in the Premier League. That's 5 games stretching back to October. Alex Song and Johan Djuru are the only 2 players in this starting 11 who started the League Cup tie 3 weeks ago, but 8 of Wigan's 11 started that game. It was very much the Arsenal kids against a Wigan first team, and the kids won it 3-0. Ryan Taylor with the free kick for Wigan though. Titus Bramble forward. Palacios with a shot which scuffs and deflects, and Almunia has to make the save. Wasn't the most sweetly struck shot this, but it had Manuel Almunia adjusting quickly to his left-hand side. Adebayor. Danielson, good recovery by Figueroa, but Arsenal have a corner. All the blue and white shirts are back, waiting for this corner from Van Persie. Catamol met it with a good header. Danielson to Fabregas. There's an awkward height, turned its way to Adebayor, and Arsenal found themselves in front. Well, it was cleared by Catamol, dropped back in by Fabregas, and then it just fell nicely for Emmanuel Adebayor, who suddenly found himself with just Kirkland to beat. And beat him he did. Emmanuel Adebayor's 10th goal of the season. And Arsenal, without really getting going in the first 15 minutes, find themselves in front. 5 Premier League games unbeaten, but their record against the top 4 is miserable, really. Nasri. Strong challenge, which Steve Bennett has taken exception to, and Wilson Palacios gets the yellow card from Steve Bennett. It's his 5th of the season, which means he'll get a 1-match ban. Well, he wrapped a leg around either side of Samir Nasri and never got within 6 inches of the ball. There's Eduardo keeping warm. He's missed 38 Arsenal games since that horrible injury, but he's back in training and will be back playing as soon as possible, says Arsene Wenger. Sagna, Van Persie's flick. Eboue looking to get there first, which he has ahead of Melchiot. And here's Danielson. Van Persie arriving inside the penalty area now. It's Adebayor. Oh, it's off the post via the fingertips of Kirkland. Danielson played it back into Emmanuel Adebayor, and Kirkland just got a hand to it. Sagna, Song. Fabregas, great ball, Van Persie missed it. Well, it's the pass of the game from Fabregas that found him. Wonderful vision from Fabregas. From that position, Van Persie should really, at the very least, be making Kirkland make a save. Kolo Touré is finally going long, and he's found Van Persie. And he's brought Clichy into play, and this is promising for Arsenal. Clichy with the measured cross. Figueroa got something on it, and it's a corner kick. And Robin Van Persie will take. Flick on! Oh, Kirkland at the near post from Sagna's header. This is all about the delivery and pace from Robin Van Persie. Just diverted by Sagna. Good save by Kirkland, because it was coming very fast and on target. Good ball. Henri Camara will chase this. Touré was out of position, but he's got the pace to recover. Well, Henri Camara raised an arm, appealing to Steve Bennett for the foul. Well, you can certainly see why he had the look at the referee and ask the question. You've seen that given before. Sagna to Fabregas and Emmanuel Adebayor. Danielson. Cut out by Taylor. Danielson's won it back. Here's Van Persie. Can he find room? Very nearly. Didn't seem possible to get a shot beyond Melchiot and on target. In the end, it wasn't quite possible, but my goodness, it was close. Adebayor's chest to Van Persie. Van Persie into Eboue. Adebayor wants it in the middle. Van Persie's there too. Eboue was hoping, I think, that someone was going to bring him down. Here's Danielson. Oh, off the post again. Well, Danielson, a whisker away, certainly rattled the post hard enough. Valencia nicely to Zaki. He's turned, he's facing goal, he's found Palacios, 3 in the middle. Good ball in near post. Heskey wasn't all that far away, had to be dealt with, and he's got a corner. Taylor, good pace on it. Melchiot's there, good save by Almunia. Well, he earned his corn with that one. Good delivery for starters. Melchiot. It's a very good save by Almunia. Eboue. Oh, terrible. Here's Kumas. Valencia. Eboue's having a torrid time and he's getting some serious stick. Here's Jason Kumas. He's got quality. Didn't show it. Goodness me, Eboue is having an absolute nightmare. Here's Kilban, now Taylor. Kilban's cross. Heskey's header! It's 6 inches over the top. And Emmanuel Eboue, who came on after 32 minutes for the injured Samir Nasri, is replaced. And the Arsenal supporters get to their feet and applaud as the number 27 of Emmanuel Eboue is shown. The substitute is substituted. He's had a miserable hour. A miserable hour.
It was a difficult game because they played very well, Wigan, and they defended everywhere on the pitch for 90 minutes. They gave absolutely everything. You can only praise what they did, and as long as for us it was important today because we lost our last home game. You could see that played on our minds, and so it was important to win.
We huffed and puffed and had 5 or 6 half chances. We just needed, you know, a little bit of luck and a little bit of better delivery at times in the last third. But overall, I'm very, very pleased and disappointed for them because they've given everything they've got there and deserve to get something out of the game.
Emmanuel Eboue hasn't played for 5 or 6 weeks since the end of October. Was he in the physical condition to play for an hour, or was that longer than you really would have liked him to play?
It was a bit longer than I really would have liked him to play, but at that stage I felt that he had lost a little bit confidence and even a lot confidence, and he would even be more unhappy if he gave a ball away that cost us a goal. You want your players to be supported, even when he was, of course, tired or lost lost some balls, and but in the end, I think he had a negative effect on his game, and that's why he had...
Robinho play. Interesting going back to the Arsenal game, though. What happened to Eboue? Been out for a few weeks. Got a bit of a whacking from the crowd.
Yeah,
there.
I don't like that. I'm really disappointed to see that, to be honest. He's been out for 5 or 6 weeks with an injury. He was on the bench. He came on. Yes, he had a poor game, but I don't think there's any need to boo your own players and cheer when they go off.
But it's been ever thus, though, isn't it? You have a bad time. I mean, you had a few bad decades. You had a few bad decades.
I had the one bad game at Liverpool. Terrible.
What year was that?
No, it's so counterproductive that, you know, when your own fans are booing you, that, you know, there's no good news there whatsoever.
They've had a frustrating season, and I think that was them showing that today on that player. Shame, it shouldn't happen.
No. Frame of mind. He was, of course, disappointed for 2 days, but you know, football is magic because you have the next game, and in the next game you have a good opportunity to show how good you are. You want your fans to be doing 90 minutes behind the team, and after the game, everybody is entitled to have an opinion. We accept any opinion at the club, and we are open to everybody's opinion, but you still want your fans, no matter what happens, to be behind the team during the 90 minutes.
The players are all supportive of Manu because, I mean, he's a great guy, we all love him, and he's a strong character as well, so he will bounce back straight away. But I think it's true that it was a hard moment for us because we wasn't expecting it, but we all around him and very supportive to him.
So what reaction will Eboue get from the fans? Here's the verdict from the travelling support in Portugal.
I like to think that, you know, the fans can get behind our, you know, our players. I mean, you know, it's one of these, you know, seasons where he's not playing well, and we need to get behind the guys. We don't need to be, you know, like, you know, getting on these guys' backs at all. No. So I'll be certainly cheering him on, definitely.
I support him. Obviously, he's an Arsenal player, so you know, we want to see the team do really well, and yeah, I'll support him.
No, they was going Eboue, Eboue. That wasn't booing.
I think they might have been.
No, I don't know really. I mean, yeah, I mean it's not on it. It's not right really. But I don't know. I mean, I think the fans at the moment a little bit worried about the way we're playing.
A lot of the guys were very, very disappointed with some of the players that are there at the moment. We feel we should be doing better. We don't expect it, but it's perhaps when we've had it for so long, we feel that we should be getting.
Arsenal will face a group winner in the last 16 of the Champions League after defeat to Porto surrendered top spot in Group G. Arsene Wenger fielded a weakened team, and captain for the night Manuel Almunia was critical of the team. He said they weren't in the game at any stage.
The first defeat of the campaign left Arsenal second in their group, and now set to face one of the other group winners in the last 16. Arsene Wenger named a young... But when Bruno Alves caught Abu Diaby off guard at a corner 7 minutes before the break, the Portuguese champions were on course for the win that would take them top. Porto's top scorer Lissandro wrapped up the game, making it 2-0 9 minutes into the second half. Wenger was glad to be able to rest some of his senior players and give some of his younger charges valuable European experience, but said he was disappointed at his side's lack of ability to get back into the match.
We were not in the game at any moment. We were not aggressive, we were not into the game. We didn't pass well the ball, we lost many balls, and in this way you always lose.
It's difficult, but we will be up for it, and we have a chance against anybody in Europe.
Runners-up spot means they'll play the second leg away from home. Tony Campbell, Sky Sports.
Well, all eyes were on Emmanuel Eboue last night. He received a much warmer reception from the Arsenal fans, despite being booed off in the win over Wigan at the weekend. But it wasn't to be one of his best performances in an Arsenal shirt. Things just weren't going for him, and his frustration was clear to see. And the night didn't get any better for him. He even got booked. And he was partly at fault for Porto's second goal, which ended the game. He tried to play the offside, but failed. It means Arsenal go into the last 16 as runners-up behind Porto. Dinamo Kiev go into the UEFA Cup. They only conceded 4 goals from their 6 group games. Well, these are Arsenal's potential opponents in the last 16. They could face Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Juventus, Panathinaikos or Roma. Well, Arsenal could have Clichy, Sagna, Fabregas, Touré, Van Persie and Adebayor all back for Saturday's game at Middlesbrough. It's live from 12:30 on Sky Sports 1 and H.
They are. Colour Touré still injured, but they've got the 2 full-backs back, Sagna and Clichy, 2 strikers, Van Persie and Adebayor, and the skipper, Cesc Fabregas. So it's a pretty strong side, certainly stronger than the one that turned out in midweek, and I'm sure Arsene Wenger will be hoping for a better attitude as well, Jeff.
Any place for Emmanuel Eboue, who's been in the news?
Yeah, he's on the bench, just on the substitutes bench. As I say, Sanya's back at right back. He's going to play Denilson on the right of midfield, Diaby on the left with Song and Fabregas in the middle. So he's just going to stick Eboue on the bench.
Okay, from a Middlesbrough point of view, they've got a few defensive problems, haven't they? David Wheat is suspended, of course, and there were doubts about both Justin Hoyte and Andrew Taylor. So what's their back four going to look like?
Yeah, and a lot of disruption now, and neither Hoyte nor Taylor have made it. So he's had to change the whole thing, really. Tony McMahon comes in at right back. He shoved Pogatetz over to the left from the middle, brought Robert Huth back alongside Chris Riggott. So a real rejig formation there. He's also changed things. He's going to play a 4-5-1, we think. Play Ali Adier up front on his own. He's put Alves on the bench. Tunchai just drops in as well, just to bolster the middle of the park there. You just think Ali Adier he's got a bit more mobility. He'll got the legs to do a job up front there. But not ideal from Gareth's point of view, you know, when you look at that defensive reshuffle.
OK, Alan, thanks very much indeed. Look forward to hearing from you during the course of the afternoon. Well, let's talk about Arsenal first of all, shall we? They've tumbled out to 18-1 to win the Champions League after their defeat in Porto in midweek. What's going wrong, Charlie? Why are they so desperately inconsistent?
I think there's definitely some problem within the camp, Jeff, in terms of being together. You know, a lot of the players have said, and I know Arsene has been consistent in saying that the spirit is still strong, he believes in the team, and that's what the manager quite rightly has to say. You know, the booing of Eboue, I think, can be a bit disruptive within the dressing room. The fans were wrong to do so. It doesn't work for you, it doesn't help anybody. But they are frustrated the same as probably I am, and I'm sure Arsene Wenger.
Not the first player it's happened to, though, is it?
No,
you know?
it's not. It's not, but it's unusual for Arsenal to do that type of thing. It's unusual for the club to do that. You know, people like Nasri, even when he's fit, they've got to do more. But Eboue...
This is Eboue when he comes on against Wigan.
Well, I mean, I've been critical of Eboue myself because I think his appetite and attitude at times is wrong. And because of that, this guy went from being a very decent right back into a player who, you know, you can see he's petrified to go on the ball there, and then when he gets it. And it's the first time I've ever known Arsene Wenger, and all the time that I've watched him, to ever put on a sub and take him back off again. It's very, very unusual. So I think within the dressing room there might be a little problem that he thought probably disappeared 2 weeks ago after beating Manchester United. It came back, and then after beating Chelsea, it looked as if it had gone away again.
The source of that problem then?
I think it's the players themselves. I think the players are, you know,
factions or.
I think there could be that, Jeff. You know, I'm not trying to single out individuals here because I don't know on a day-to-day basis how or who dictates things. But you've just lost, in terms of Gallas, has lost the captaincy. So he's probably said, a lot of this stuff is not anything to do with my responsibility now. And unfortunately, young Cesc Fabregas is, in my opinion, too young to get involved in the real situation like this. Arsene, I don't think, is a man who seeks confrontation, but someone within the dressing room, and I would suggest it would have to be Pat Rice, would need to go in and shake a few and say, come on, let's get this out in the open and clear it. I could be wrong in that, Jeff, but my opinion is that this is the reason that I think the lads would consistently say Arsenal are not good enough, they're not going to win the Premier League, they're not going to win this. And the fans are saying the same thing. I think the majority of fans are saying the same thing. There must be a problem within, and it needs to be resolved once and for all. It seems to go 2 weeks without it, and then it comes back again. And this is a talented group.
Because, you know, Paul Merson, I mean, there's another ex-Arsenal man, you know, OK, it was effectively a second string that played at Porto. All the big names were missing, but I've rarely seen such a disjointed Arsenal performance from any sort of side. In truth, you just wonder whether the fear factor has completely disappeared for teams when they play Arsenal now.
Yeah, I think that's the case, Jeff, and I think they've got the fear in them now. When they first went out, they were a young team, had no fear about them. They went out and they just expressed themselves. I think Arsene Wenger got very carried away, and a lot of other people got very carried away by what happened against Sheffield United. Sheffield United were very poor that day when everybody goes, oh, this team's going to be the best, and they're not as good as what everybody says.
And these are just some examples of
complete
lack of understanding.
It's confidence as well. It is confidence. A lot of them are young players, and all of a sudden...
It's always been the Arsenal game, hasn't it? The sharp passing movement and such like.
But the players they've had, Jeff, you know, the players they don't have anymore, like, and we're only talking 3 years ago, your Perez's, your Bergkamps, your Omris, your Vieiras, they're all players comfortable with a lot of experience. These are young kids coming through, and I'm a great believer you only play young kids in good teams and winning teams, and at the moment they're having to come into teams that are not winning.
You see, Alan Smith mentioned the Arsenal midfield today, which is going to be Denilson, Fabregas, Song and Diaby. Well, that's not going to scare anybody, Matt, is it?
No, I mean, we've certainly seen down the years the Arsenal midfield has been a real strong part of their team. You take a look at that, and you know, as a team playing against that midfield for you, you're not going to get bullied, and you're going to fancy your chances if you're going to put yourself about a little bit. Yeah, there's still some decent passes of the ball in there, but with a midfield like that, you will think you've got a chance.
They look an ordinary, Jeff.
They're looking ordinary, Arsenal.
What do they have to do to stop looking ordinary, Phil?
I said it a few... There's a confidence thing there within these players. And
is it confidence, or are they just not good enough?
It's confidence, because you've seen these lads. I'm watching Arsenal in some of the games that they've been playing over, say, the last 6 games, and yet they've beaten Chelsea and whatever. And I don't think it was a great performance when they beat Chelsea by any means, yet they beat them. Chelsea, I would say, were poor in the offensive third. But I just look at you and I'm looking at players and I'm looking to... Is this affecting them? And it's affecting them dramatically. Danielson is not looking half the player. You look at Nasri. Bentner is looking less and less a player with every game.
So are you saying this is confidence, or they're not good enough?
There's one thing is, I don't think they're good enough to take Arsenal where they actually want to go with them, which is to win the Premiership title. That is my opinion. And I'm looking at these guys and I'm thinking, what's going on? Eboue's been like this for a while, by the way. It was disgraceful what happened. I know we say fans, they pay the money, they have their opinion, and not to boo their own player in the manner that happened. And that is wrong, Jeff. And I think in a cold light today, they'll go, yeah, we got it wrong. But there's more to it. Something is not fundamentally right with these players. I have never seen an Arsenal team for the last 5 years give the ball away as they have been doing. And that's a lack of confidence. Normally, everybody's wanting the ball. Everybody's wanting to snap the ball in to each other's feet. To me, there's a fear factor in the faces at the moment. It's down to the manager, it's down to the players to get together and how they deal with it. But these players, the ones that I'm talking about, even better ones than them, they give the ball away cheaply. Nobody, as for the last few years, has ever been able to pick at Arsenal about ball possession. And I'm afraid that's what's happening. And you're right, there's teams who are going to go and say, hey, you know what we can do? We can close them down and they'll give the ball away. They'll misplace the pass, it'll go out of play. That doesn't usually happen. You go, we've got to stay very, very tight here because Arsenal will pick us off and they'll keep the ball and they'll murder us. That's not going on.
What about the reports, Charlie, that the likes of William Gallas and Nicholas Bentner will be allowed to leave in January? Is that the right thing to happen?
I would accept that. I would accept that. I think William Gallas, when he first came to Arsenal, I thought it was a great deal for Arsenal. He's never really got the form that he showed at Chelsea, if I'm being, in my opinion. In terms of Nicholas Bentner, decent player, but not any better than decent, Jeff. And for Arsenal, I'm sorry, but that, in my opinion, again, is simply not good enough. If you want to go and win prizes, and this manager, let's be absolutely honest about it, this manager wants prizes as much as any manager, and the fans are as patient as they possibly can be at certain times. But there comes a time that you can rely on talent so much. And you look at Liverpool, top of the league at the moment, even Manchester United catching up, and Chelsea, and you still look at them. They can do the ugly side of the game better than Arsenal can. And if Arsenal can't identify with that, within that problem, and the manager is totally aware of it, that means that if these players are not good enough, they have to be moved on. They have to move them on.
You know, Matt, I mean, we've talked about this in the past, but it's going to come back up again because the January transfer window is just around the corner. Does Arsene Wenger have to go out and buy a couple of experienced quality players?
How many times have we said that in the past? And yet he's been very stubborn and hasn't gone out and done it, even though it's glaringly obvious to everybody in the game what he needs. He has a philosophy which he wants to stick by, and he feels that he knows best. And you know, with the record that he's had down the years, he can probably justify that. But to everybody in the game, he definitely needs a couple of experienced players, without question.